Konami is slowly but surely winning the hearts and minds of PC gamers everywhere as they've been porting their titles over from the consoles. It started with Castlevania Lords of Shadow. Lords of Shadow 2 is looking to have a simultaneous release across all platforms, including PC. Recently, Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance made it to the PC marketplace and at a reduced price as well. Strap yourselves in, Revengeance is one hell of a ride.
Keep climbing like that. It will be much easier for you.
Revengeance continues the tale of Raiden after the events of Metal Gear's Solid 2 and 4. Now a cyborg ninja, Raiden relies less on stealth and more on speed and his lightning-fast sword to chop his enemies into little pieces. If you haven't already guessed, this is not your typical Shadow Skulker. Instead, Revengeance is perfectly suited for hack and slasher fans of Devil May Cry, Bayonetta, Ninja Gaiden, and Lords of Shadow. Revengeance easily stands shoulder to shoulder with its contemporaries. It's a fast, clean, super addictive, and visually stunning action game that will force gamers to tape their eyelids open so they don't blink. Raiden weakens his enemies with his katana, and when he's built up enough energy, he can enter blade mode and sever body parts, or completely slice someone or something in half, or thirds, or more depending on how sadistic the player is feeling. Blade mode is Revengeance's gimmick, but the game uses it well. It's not just for visual flair. Later in the game, when enemies start to beef up and pile up, it can be used to severely weaken one foe, so the player can tactically take out the other enemies around. But it's also not a quick fix to any situation. Some skill is required as to when to use it. Splitting an enemy in two at the right location gives Raiden the opportunity to tear out their robospine and heal himself completely with their cybernetic juices, making Raiden a sort of bionic vampire. Bosses will appear roughly every hour, and most will give even the most seasoned of players a real challenge. Most bosses drop a secondary weapon that can be unlocked by spending experience points. Experience points can also be spent on new Raiden outfits, upgraded moves, and increased health. Of course, the story and voice acting are the usual Metal Gear schlock, and resemble something found in a 1980s action movie or a tongue-in-cheek anime.
Get out of here!
A ninja! Cowabunga! Go ninja! Go ninja! Go!
Oh yeah!
In fact, the whole game is deliciously bombastic. Raiden will jump from missile to destroy enemy helicopters, slice entire striker units in half that are thrown at his face, run up and down the sides of buildings. It's so over the top, it's hard to not fall in love with it. But the pace of the chase is often broken up by long-winded phone calls or cutscenes. If players skip every scene and call, the game will last around 6 to 9 hours depending on your skill level. More skilled players may knock the game out in an even shorter amount of time. But the game begs to be replayed on higher difficulty levels to unlock more items and try for perfect S ratings. The game also suffers from a sluggish camera system. There is an enemy lock system in place, but it still gets constricting in tight areas. We were able to get used to it, and it didn't bother as much towards the end of the game. Something else that breaks the flow of the game is the sub-item system. Stylistically, it's designed to mimic Metal Gear games of the past, but functionally, it doesn't work as well in a high-speed action game. It can get frustrating when you enter a boss fight and you accidentally have your cardboard box equipped instead of grenades, and you have to find a moment of respite to try to remedy the issue. On PC, the game runs fairly well, but we do recommend playing Revengeance with a controller attached to your machine. On our rig, we ran mostly at 60 frames per second, but noticed a few dips down to 30, and that was while running recording software. Revengeance supports monitors up to 1080p, windowed and windowless, making life a little easier for game streamers, and has a fair amount of graphic tweaking that PC gamers can tinker with to get the best performance out of their rig. We did not find a VSync option within the game's menu. Metal Gear Rising: Revengeance is crazy. It's stupid. It's fun. It's crazy, stupid fun, and sometimes that's exactly what we're looking for in a game. Right from the start, we were addicted to Revengeance and can't wait to go for another ride. The game's pace is unfortunately broken a bit too often, but the skip button is there for a reason. It might not be perfect, but it sure is worth buying.